Good morning. I really don't make speeches. I share my journey. Journey before standing up in public on behalf of all of us. What took us there, I'll share that story. Lots of friends have asked, what took you and Ghazala to such a public forum? I'll share that, but before I speak of our story, but let me tell you the reason I came to this blessed event to stand before you. Since the invitation from your leadership came, I began to learn more about this blessed gathering, each and every one of you and your organization. I wish to tell you something that each and every person sitting in this room and beyond associated with your organization, with your work, there is sanctity to your work, to your mission, to each and every one. Never think less of the importance of the work that you do on behalf of others. You are custodians of the goodness of this nation, the goodness of America. Thank you. I was amazed to know that such an organization, such a gathering of people exists in this country. You are up to something. You are up to something very good. Under these circumstances, you have heartened not only me, because what you decide to do, what your organization decided to do in representing those who do not have voice yet. Your work is sacred work. Always, if anything you wish to hear from this humble citizen of this country is that your name will be written in golden letters when this tumultuous time passes because what you stood for. Thank you. I say this sincerely on behalf of those whom you represent and whom you serve. That is the tradition of this country. That is the tradition of this nation. You are, under these very difficult circumstances, custodians of these values. I may repeat it several times so you will remember next time when you think of your organization, think of your work, when you are tired, when you have less energy, when you have done so much, so that when you think of this being custodian of these values, you will then do some more. Because when leaders lead, that is the energy, that is the spirit is required. This is my 162nd appearance, my journey of building bridges, interfaith communities, political organizations, wonderful organizations of generous, kind Americans, and journey continues, journey to build bridges. One thing I wish to, you have to forgive me if I raise my voice. I do this intentionally. Maybe this voice will go across the street, across these walls. We are people who believe in self-governing. We do not like authoritarian mentality, authoritarian practices. But one thing is clear, and I wish to repeat that we conduct ourselves with civility, civility of political discourse, civility in our conversation, civility in our discourse with those who do not agree with us. That is the character of a democratic society. Those who believe in democracy, basically democracy is nothing but a civil discourse where we stand with those with whom we do not agree. We conduct our discourse in a civilized manner. Civility is scarce in political discourse these days in Washington. But you are a symbol of that. You are a symbol of care and civil discourse. Continue this. You are, whether you like it or not, your time has chosen you not only as representative of those who do not have voice, representative of the true value of this country, of this nation, but you have been chosen to lead the pack, lead this nation in the right direction. You are a sanctuary organization. This is very rarely done in this country. You are leading something that is a treasure for this nation. First time, and the reason I mention this is to pay tribute to you all, that when you declared your organization a sanctuary organization, you are representing the foundational value of this country. The reason I fell in love with this nation, this country, was a moment in my life. I was 22 years old, second-year law student, when I took a course in comparative studies of world constitution. When I brought the material to my dorm room, I placed them on the table. The very first page of those materials had a first sentence. It said, "The Declaration of Independence." I was in awe of that word. Is there such a blessed nation that declares its independence? I come from Pakistan, from Asia, where the colonized people asked for independence, struggled for independence, waited for independence. What a nation, what a people declaring their independence. This must be a death warrant for those who led this charge. And then I saw the name of the 56 patriots that had signed that document. I was in awe of that spirit, and I have remained in awe of that spirit and that document. I implore you, this is the time to read these documents, not only the Articles and Bill of Rights, but the Declaration of Independence as well. There are 18 grievances in 1,338 words of Declaration of Independence. And the reason I mention this is to pay tribute to you all. You are, when I say custodians of these values, I am not exaggerating. Let me read you my most favorite and the values that you have incorporated without knowing that you are representing our Declaration of Independence. Let me read you the grievance number 7. There are total 18 grievances in the Declaration of Independence. Let me read you the grievance number 7 that this nation talks about: immigration. How dare we don't remember that? How dare we have forgotten grievance number 7? And it reads, addressing the colonists that colonized my nation, my people, my country here in the United States. And it says, he has endeavored to prevent the population of these states. For that purpose, listen to these words, these are from Declaration of Independence. For that purpose, obstructing the laws of naturalization of foreigners, refusing to pass others to encourage their migration here. That was said in 1776. That is the tradition of this country. We demanded that we be allowed to have free immigration to this country, with laws, of course, with policies, of course, control of our borders, of course, but not maligning immigrants. It is that tradition that your organization, that your work carries by making your organization a sanctuary organization. So when I say that there is sanctity to your work in caring for others, you are carrying the message of true America. Its foundational values, it welcomes immigrants. Immigrants bring an amazing dynamic spirit. Let me share with you how I feel so passionate about standing here before you. Our story is exactly the same as each and every one of you, as this blessed organization cares for others, leads in caring for others. When we showed up at the Democratic National Convention, we were reluctant. In 2015, December, when the most bigoted statement of this nation's political history was made, all Muslims will be banned, all Hispanics are criminal, they will be thrown out. Judges are partial, women are of not equal dignity. Wherever we would go after that statement, with our children, with our grandchildren, their birthday parties, their schools, their class fellows, those who were even native born would come to me, small children, middle school, elementary school children, boys and girls, when their parents will tell them that he's a practicing lawyer, he can tell you that what you're worried about after listening to that speech. And the harassment that these children were receiving at school, their class fellows, their classmates were harassing them that your parents were not born here, you're immigrants, you will be thrown out of here, you're Hispanic, you're Muslim, you're Asian, you don't look like American. These children will come home and they would say to their parents, we don't want to go to school, we are being harassed, after that bigoted statement. So I would bring these small kids, boys and girls, close to my heart. I will hold them close. I will pull out my pocket constitution, which I had started to keep in my pocket since 2005 after Captain Humayun Khan passed away. I used to present that constitution to cadets that used to come to our home to pay respect, because in each and every one of them we saw a reflection of Captain Humayun Khan. Even today, whenever I see a uniformed person of the armed forces, we see a reflection of his dignity, reflection of his faith, reflection of his respect, and standing tall and standing firm and speaking politely and humbly. So I used to keep a copy of the Constitution in my pocket. I would take out and I would read 14th Amendment, Section 1, the most cherished one, where it says equal protection of law and equal dignity. And I would assure them, I would try to hearten them that, no, you will not be thrown out of here. These small kids of elementary school, boys and girls asking me, will we be thrown out of here if this person becomes president? Can you assure us? We are born here. We don't know any other place. Where would we be sent? And they would tell their parents, we don't want to go to school, because when we go to school, we are reminded, when you go back home, your parents would have been taken and you will never see them again. We don't want to go to school. This was happening in our life at that moment. On the other side, DNC decided that they will pay tribute to several other Gold Star families. That was part of the theme of the convention. And you saw Several other families appeared on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We received the invitation that a tribute will be paid to Captain Humayun Khan. Do you have any objection? We readily agreed. We have no objection as long as we get to see it, what you're saying. They prepared the tribute, which is available. I urge you to watch, where Hillary Clinton pays tribute to Captain Humayun Khan and calls him best of America. We agreed. 2 days later, call came back and said, we are inviting other Gold Star families. Would you be interested in coming and being on stage when we pay tribute? Something told me this is not our cup of tea, we should not go. So I told them, let me think for a couple of days. They said, that's fine, but let us know, because the schedule is very tight on Thursday. I asked my other children. I called some of my friends, our well-wishers. Each and every one of them told us, do not get involved in this matter. This is not your nature. You are humble, modest, peaceful people. This political event would drag you into such a public arena where everything will be attacked. Your character, your reputation, your peace. You will not have that ever after if you appear. We almost decided that we will not go. This was second day that Ghazala and I are sitting in the room where Captain Humayun Khan's picture hangs, and we have dedicated a small part of it to his memory. With the thought what these small children have asked us, will we be thrown out of here? Can you assure us that we will not be thrown out of here? Can I finish my elementary school? But I don't know where I'll go or where we will go. Second day, and this is so amazing. We had been praying. We are people of faith. We were praying that some guidance should come. We don't want to disappoint these small children. Our well-wishers are telling us, do not go. We are not people of confrontation or political debates or speeches. I have never been involved in any political activity. Went to check the mail that afternoon, opened the mailbox. With the rest of the mail, there is a small card in white envelope, no stamp on it, Mr. and Mrs. Khan. Out of curiosity, I opened it immediately at the mailbox, and this is what it said, which sent us to that convention. People don't know. There had been allegations. We were asked, we were told, we were invited, and we were, our speech was written, and I'll tell you how the speech came about. This is what that card said. That card came from a local elementary school, from 5th graders, because they put the name of the school. And these were the same kids that had been asking me that question because I recognized their names. And this is what it said, 4 names and a line in the middle of the card. That is the reason we went to that DNC convention. That is the reason. And that is where you and I join hands in caring for others, each and every one of you caring for others. Your organization, your blessed organization, your work, caring for others. Remember this. It has amazing sanctity. I opened that card. I read it twice, standing there, trying to understand what have I been asked. And it says, Mr. and Mrs. Khan, would you make sure Maria is not thrown out of this country? She's our friend. We love her. I read it again. We had been praying for 2 days. Some guidance should come our way. I brought that letter immediately to Ghazala, showed it to her. I said, look, our prayers have been answered. We will go. She looked at me and she said, yes. Forget about the discouragements that we have received. that our comfort will be totally sacrificed. We will not have the privacy ever again, but we will go. So I picked up the phone and I called DNC. I said, we will go, we will come. So it is that you and I, in care of others, we put our peace, our comfort, our privacy totally aside. There comes time in each and every one's life. Each and every one of us faces that moment when you have two choices. Sit in peace at home and comfort, or stand up and set your sails. You are a symbol of those who have set sail. Your organization is symbol of those who have set the sail under these very difficult times. So I called the DNC that we will come. They told me, you have 2 minutes. Time is very tight. The candidate is accepting the nomination. And we were so, throughout that campaign, very quietly as ordinary, humble, modest citizen, we were so inspired and aspired by that candidacy. Just because I have 2 granddaughters, I used to tell them, whenever I would show them the picture, this is you can accomplish if you put your mind to it. Never be intimidated in your life. Women are of equal dignity. Never be underestimating your power, your equality. And they would smile on their face someday. Yes, we will become president of this country also. It was that we were supporting. Just a simple idea that maybe time has come that my daughters, my sisters, will have equal dignity in this nation. You stand for that. Your organization stands for that. Be so proud how good your values are. So we decided we were given 2 minutes, and I sat down with all the grievances in my heart to write my grievances, because they asked us to submit what we want to say, an outline or the exact text. I began to write that evening, remember sitting very late, continuing to write, scratch and write, and there were 2 pages, 5 pages, 10 pages, 12 pages all together. And next morning I told Ghazala that I have to submit this outline of my speech. Would you sit and listen to it? She said, sure. She sat with the clock in her hand, and I began to read. 5 minutes passed, 7 minutes, 8 minutes, 10 minutes, 12 minutes. It went all the way to 18 minutes. And she has never called me Mr. Khan ever in her life. That day she did. She said, Mr. Khan, they will turn off your mic, they will turn the lights off, and they may have to drag you off if you continue with this speech. So let's please edit. She always had been my editor. She began to edit, and we narrowed it down to, and I looked it up for 2 minutes, how many words. It is said each minute is 130 words, altogether 260 words. We narrowed it down. Believe me, the words, the speech that we submitted to DNC, it's a protocol. You submit what you wish to say so that they have some idea what you're talking about, to 260 words for 2 minutes, that on the stage became 6 minutes, 6 and some seconds. But it was spoken on behalf of our small children, worried children. Since then, I have hugged them. I have told them, remember, we spoke on your behalf. I have seen instead of worry, the smile on their faces. Yes, we listen to you. And if I lose the composure, I want to end my comment with one more story that brings it home for all of us. And then I want to share a couple of other things very briefly. I was in Washington, D.C. about 3-4 weeks after this speech, walking from one meeting to another. A humble, modest lady on the street touched my arm as I was walking. She was coming this way. And she's, "Mr. Khan, I wanted to say thank you for that wonderful speech." And I bowed my head and I told her, "Thank you, I'm grateful, I'm encouraged." She said, "No, but I want to share something." She pointed towards her. She said, "See, I'm a Hispanic American, but I'm a citizen. I was born here. My parents immigrated. I have a 10-year-old son. I want to tell you about him. It'll take only 1 minute." So I bowed my head and I stood there. And she said, "One day I came a few days ago to home from work, and he was in his room, and his door was closed." I said, "He never closes his door when he's home." So I went. I thought maybe something wrong. Why is the door closed? He was listening to something. I did not disturb him. I thought I should give him privacy. So I went and I minded my business. Came next day, again, same time, same moment, door closed. And there's noise in his room and he's listening to something. Without knocking the door, without knocking, I opened the door and I went in. And he was holding his phone in his hand, and I asked him, "What are you doing?" He did not say anything. He simply turned the telephone screen towards me and he turned his face. I looked at him. He was listening to your speech. I asked him, "Why? This is second day I came and you're listening to this. How often do you listen? Why do you listen to it so many times? Once is enough." And this is what he said. He said, "Mom, in school, whenever I am bullied, when I am harassed, I come back home and I listen to this speech. It heartens me. I go back to school next day with full of hope and courage." So this wise lady took her son to the principal's office next day and told the principal this is what had been going on. Principal said nothing but invited all of his class alongside the teacher to her office and asked them to sit in her conference table and played that speech and sent them, without saying a word, sent them back to class. A couple of days later, this mother asks her son, "How did it go? What is taking place? Are you still being bullied in school?" And this son, with the smile on, this is what his mother is telling me. The smile on his face says, "Mother, since we went to principal's office and we came back after listening, everyone is my friend. They reach out to me. So, and the purpose of sharing that story is this, that whenever you stand for others, your actions become so powerful. Whenever this organization stands for others, you become an exceptional group of people. You are an exceptional group of people. Your work has your history. Your values have declared you exceptional people with big heart, with care of others at every level. We all have different stations in life, but each and every one sitting in this hall and within the reach of my voice, your work, your mission, for the sake of others, at whatever level it is, makes you exceptional human beings. That is the call of our time. We are people of liberty. We aspires, we proudly speak of our democracy. We tell the rest of the world we are the people of democratic values. But let me say something for you to ponder after you end this convention. When you go home, think of this. Liberty, democracy that we so cherish, that all political affiliations, all political parties speak of democratic values, liberty in our heart and in our mind. But my friends, please think of it. Liberty without equality is hollow. It's equality that gives life to liberty. Without economic equality, without social equality, without political equality, without equality in our communities, our liberty is a hollow word. That is the message that I send from here to across the street. Equality. Without equality, liberty is hollow. I wish to conclude my remarks by expressing my concerns. My concerns have been, and you will agree with me, had been the challenge that our democracy faces today. And that challenge is not from within, but those who do not like our system of life, our self-governing mentality, our fabric of life of governing ourselves, have challenged us. They had planned it long time. I come from the part of the region where we had seen Soviet Union. Yes, before Russia, there used to be Soviet Union. They did not like what took place where America participated in the disintegration of Soviet Union. They wanted to attack our democracy. They planned it so well. My naive brothers and sisters fell for it. In my speech, I was very much aware of that element at that time in July of 2016 when I said, "You are sowing division." And look, I don't mean to say I was right, but I had some inclination that those who do not wish us well had sown division among us. I want across the hall people to know this, that this division is un-American. It does not serve America. Political discourse, political differences, yes, we have always had. Since the inception, we had political differences. But division, no. But maligning immigrants, maligning vulnerable communities is sign of defeat, sign of declining and denied true American values. Second concern, first is attack on our democracy. Second concern is this thoughtless foreign policy without deliberation has brought us at the verge of nuclear war. And I deliberately use these words, at the verge of nuclear war. We have not been careful in our speech, in our conduct. It's call of duty. So we are people of democracy. We have inalienable rights written in our Constitution, all the dignities, I call them human dignities, the rights listed in our Bill of Rights. Inalienable rights We use that word quite frequently. Let me add some concern to it. Those rights may be inalienable, but those are not self-executing rights. You execute them. It is the voice that executes those inalienable rights. Those inalienable rights remain on the pages of the books and the Constitution. It's your work, it's your voice, it's your activity, it's your political activism that makes them, they are not self-executing, makes them come alive. Challenging if anybody violates, be it the government in Washington or be it the state government, whenever those rights are violated, you breathe life in those rights. Never underestimate the power of your work, power of your organization, the work that it does, the message that it carries, the candidates that it endorses, the support that it renders on your behalf. Always feel, always know the impact of your work, that you breathe life in those inalienable rights. I wish to, again, express my humble gratitude for allowing me to stand before you, for listening to my worried thoughts. But I am hopeful. I have traveled throughout the country. I want you to know this, that in this moment of being worried about our nation, you're not alone. Majority of this nation, and I am a testament to that, from Portland, Oregon, to Cedar Rapids, Iowa, to Toledo, Ohio, to Houston, Texas, to Dallas, Texas, and other so many places, 161 of them, they're all concerned as much you are. That gives me hope that when so much of this nation is worried about the direction of our nation, we will set it right. We will fix it. We will change the course. We know, we have come to realize, I am sure some of you know, I do, and I remind everybody that on 7th of November, every election, think of the sentiments and feelings I had. I remind myself, and I remind those on my side of the political aisle, the sentiments that we had on 8th of November, what we felt, how we felt. Remember that, so that you get up on 7th of November, every time you have an opportunity to vote, get up and vote. Remind your friends, let's go and vote. That is a sacred honor that this democracy had bestowed upon us. We must honor, we must continue to honor, so we will never go through this moment that we are going through in our history at this time. You are the custodians of these values. You're the leaders. I am so grateful. I am humbled. I just don't know how to express my gratitude for allowing me to stand before you, for listening to me, and for granting me this honor. Thank you very much. Thank you.